What happens when five ordinary teenagers from different cliques at their high school end up doing a detention on Saturday under the watchful eye of their vice principal? Well, that's easy. You've got this film right here, which is celebrating its 40th anniversary this year. Here it is. This is my review of The Breakfast Club. Big D's Entertainment Rankings and Reviews. So, greetings, my fellow YouTubers, and welcome to Big D's Entertainment Rankings and Reviews. My name is Dual, better known to as the Big D, and this time around I bring to you a review of the 1985 indie teen coming of age dramedy flick, The Breakfast Club, released by Universal, produced along with A&M Films and Channel Productions. Written, produced, and directed by John Hughes, starring Emilio Estevez, Paul Gleason, Anthony Michael Hall, Judd Nelson, Molly Ringwald, and Ali Sheedy. The film tells the story of five teenagers from different high school cliques who serve a Saturday detention overseen by the authoritarian vice principal. The film was released on February 15th, 1985. Thus, I'm just a couple of days early for its anniversary because the weekend's booked. Sorry. So I just thought I'd do celebrate its anniversary early. Just a week, and it just came to theaters after a week after it made its premiere in LA. The film did pretty decent enough and what have you, and critics consider this to be one of John Hughes' most memorable and recognized works. The media subsequently referred to the film's five main actors as members of a group called the Brat Pack. Anyway, let's get into the story. On Saturday, March 24th, 1984, five students at Shermer High School in Shermer, Illinois report for an all-day detention. Socially awkward Brian Johnson, jock Andrew Clark, shy loner Allison Reynolds, popular girl Claire Standish, and rebellious delinquent John Bender. They gather in the school library and meet with their vice principal, Richard Vernon, who warns them not to talk or move from their seats and assigns each of them the task of writing a 1,000-word essay describing who you think you are. Bender ignores the rules and spends his time antagonizing the others and defying Vernon, who gives him 8 additional weekends of detention. Bet you remember that. The students sneak off to retrieve Bender's marijuana stash from his locker. When they see Vernon return to the library, Bender deliberately gets caught to allow the others to sneak back in. Locked in a storage closet as punishment, Bender is berated by Vernon even further, who tells him that he wants Bender to prove how tough he is and has offered a chance to punch Vernon but fails to act. He soon escapes into the ceiling panels and falls into the library where the others hide him from Vernon. The students pass the time arguing, listening to music, and smoking marijuana, gradually opening up about their home lives and their reasons for being in detention. Claire's popularity subjects her to intense peer pressure, while her bickering parents used her against each other. She received detention for skipping school to go shopping. Bender reveals the physical abuse he and his mother suffer at the hands of his father, including cigar burns as well as other injuries he has sustained from his father physically abusing him. He is serving detention for pulling a false fire alarm. Andrew became influenced by jock culture and is intimidated by his father to succeed in wrestling. He was given detention for tapping a student's buttocks yeah, I'll say it like that. I like saying it like that. Excuse me. Sorry. Together in an attempt to win both his teammates and his father's approval. Brian is under so much academic pressure from his parents to get good grades that he contemplated suicide after getting an F in shop class. He was sent to detention for bringing a flare gun to school. And Allison is compulsively dishonest and with neglectful parents, constantly stealing things to use should she ever run away from home. She admits that she showed up to detention for lack of anything better to do. Despite their differences, the students realize they all face similar problems. Andrew and Allison bond over their complex relationships with their parents. Brian and Claire each feel anxiety over being a virgin. Still, the group suspects that their new friendships will end once the tension is over. Meanwhile, Vernon complains to the janitor, Carl, that students have become less disciplined and more arrogant compared to the ones he had when he was a teacher. But Carl suggests that Vernon is the one who has changed and cares too much about what the students think of him. Now for the final act and ending. As always, you know the procedure. You have 5 seconds to stop this video at once. Go to the description box below and fast forward to the time below. If you've seen this movie already, please continue once the 5 seconds are over with. Okay, you've been warned. The Irish convince Brian to complete Vernon's essay on the group's behalf. Claire gives Allison a makeover, which sparks romantic interest from Andrew. And Bender crawls back to the closet where Claire challenges her pristine reputation by kissing him. And the students part ways. Allison and Andrew kiss, and she rips the state championship patch off his Letterman jacket to keep. Claire gives Bender one of her diamond earrings, and they share their own kiss. Vernon reads Brian's essay, which asserts that the vice principal has made pay assumptions about all of them and declares that each one of us is a brain, that being Brian, an athlete, being Andrew, a basket case, that's Allison, a princess, Claire, and a criminal, that's Bender. Does that answer your question? Sincerely yours, The Breakfast Club. Finally, Bender walks home across the school's football field and raises his fist in the air triumphantly as he leaves. End of story. So, what did I think of The Breakfast Club? No, I've only seen it like a couple of times, but I still think this film is a very good film, though. I really liked it. I know it's been some time since I last saw it, but since I do have a little bit of nostalgia for it after according to my last time watch, which has been several years back. I really think this film is very enjoyable and fun to watch. This is a very good 80s film, and I think it just had a lot of stuff to do. The main theme of the film is the constant struggle of the American teenager to be understood both by adults and by themselves. It explores the pressure put on teenagers to fit into their own realms of high school social constructs, as well as the lofty expectations of their parents, teachers, and their authority figures. Anyway, I must say it was very good and what have you. After this, Hughes had considered a sequel to the film, focusing on the teens reuniting years later in their 30s while serving detention in university. Only now the polar opposite of how they were in the first film. The film was never made prior to Hughes' death many years later. Still, the film was a big hit at the box office, making 51.5 million worldwide. Well, I think worldwide, but I could be wrong. Against its just single $1 million budget. Anyway, this was so good, and it has gotten it's had numerous reunions and what have you, and all that jazz. I recently found out the cast had recently reunited for the film's 40th anniversary, which that's pretty cool. The film has been released on physical media, so you should have no trouble finding it. It had been released on DVD several times. It got released on Blu-ray in 2010, and then the most recent one came out in 2018 from the Criterion Collection, which was released as a special edition 2-disc DVD and a Blu-ray disc. And the transfer was the same as one previous release, but included new features such as 50 minutes of new, deleted, and extended scenes not shown in theaters, and lots of other things. If I happen to encounter that one day, maybe I'll look into it. You never can tell. I mean, I really need to revisit this film again someday, but I really think this film is really awesome. Now then, now A&M Films, which was a subsidiary of the record label of the same name, was one of the production companies. As its parent company, the record label itself released the film's soundtrack, which featured numerous songs from Wang Chung and Elizabeth Daily, who, of course, everybody would know she would become a famous voice actor. As But of course, it's well known for the popular song, which is still heard to this day on classic pop or mixed radio stations, and as well as rock stations, classic rock stations. Don't You Forget About Me, which was done by the band Simple Minds, which of course was a big hit, going to number one on the Hot 100. And that song was actually released as a single the following week after the film was released. The soundtrack eventually reached number 17 on the Billboard chart. And eventually it did pretty decent enough. So anyway, I thought the soundtrack was really good and what have you. Actually, Don't You Forget About Me was actually played in the opening and the closing credits of the film. So overall, I thought the soundtrack was pretty good. Its score was composed by Keith Forsey, which wasn't too bad. But I gotta admit, John Hughes did an exceptionally good job on this. This is one of the coolest Brad Pitt films there ever was. For our cast, we have Emilio Estevez in the role of Andrew Clark. Now, of course, he was exceptionally really good in his role for this one. Awesome. Anthony Michael Hall, who actually did appear in another film Universal released the same year, I believe it was, which was Weird Science, played Brian. He was pretty good. Playing John Bender was Judd Nelson. I gotta say, he was pretty good. Molly Ringwald, who also would appear in some other Brad Pitt type theme films like 16 Candles and Pretty in Pink, played the role of Claire. She was very good. Ali Sheedy played Allison, and of course, the following year she would appear in the great sci-fi comedy film Short Circuit. She'd also be in lots of other films as well. I gotta say, she was really good. John Capelos, or I'm sorry if I mispronounced this, played the janitor, Carl. He was pretty good. But was Paul Gleason's performance as Richard Vernon was exceptionally good. Actually, as a matter of fact, well, he actually would do that. He actually would reprise that type of same role for his little cameo performance in another teen movie in 2001. The following year, he would actually appear in National Lampoon's Van Wilder with Ryan Reynolds, which I definitely need to review that film. And of course, that would be one of his last few films before he passed away in 2006. So you gotta admit the cast is really good too. So with everything said, The Breakfast Club is exceptionally, really, really good. Its reviews are very good and what have you. I mean, Roger Ebert called the performances wonderful and that the film was more or less predictable but doesn't need earth-shaking revelations. It's about kids who grow willing to talk to one another and it has surprisingly good ear for the way they speak. And Gene Siskel said in his review, this conventional formula has worked in films as different as Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf, The Big Chill, and My Dear Andre, and it works here too. It works especially well in this film because we keep waiting for the film to break out of its claustrophobic set and give us a typical teenage movie sex or violence scene. That doesn't happen, much to our delight. Well, that's understandable. That's still good. The movie sits at 89% on Rotten Tomatoes, saying this film is a warm, insightful, and very funny look into the inner lives of teenagers. Metacritic has a score of 66. So anyway, I think this is really something. After after this, Hughes would later go on to work on another teen type film, and that of course was Ferris Bueller's Day Off. So overall, I think The Breakfast Club is exceptionally good. The story's good, so it's the songs and soundtrack. Well, you get what I'm saying. The score and soundtrack. That's why I really meant. But the songs in the soundtrack are pretty good, and the cast is exceptionally good too. So I absolutely think The Breakfast Club's a great film. Would I recommend it? The answer is hell yeah, go for it. I think this is one film you definitely must look into. It's very easy to find on physical media. If you want to stream it, you can if you want, but I'd say just get this film and check it out. So, what did you think of The Breakfast Club? Let me know in the comment section below. If you like this video, click the like button, subscribe, and be a part of the Big D Nation. Continue to help support my channel. Make it grow, make the views grow. Tell all your friends about my channel. Give them to know me. Maybe they'd like to be a part of my Big D Nation. Share my vids with your friends if you like as well. Join me next time when I bring to you a spoiler-free review of Bridget Jones' Mad About the Boy. So if you like this, check out my reviews of these other films with the stars of this here film. In the upper left-hand corner is my review of Short Circuit, which Ali Sheedy appeared in. In the upper right-hand corner is my review of Pretty in Pink with Molly Ringwald. Or if you would like, yeah. If you'd like a little something else that may not have any of these stars, check out my review of the next film Mr. John Hughes did after this, and that's Ferris Bueller's Day Off. In the bottom right hand corner is a button you can click to subscribe if you like rankings and reviews on movies, TV, music, video games, etc. Then I'm your guy. Thanks for watching. Until next time, I'm the Big D saying, see ya.